When I picked up my $1,500 Range Rover Sport, it was moldy and wet. Water had leaked into the truck, so we had mold and the carpet was soaked on the passenger side. Today, we're going to work on cleaning the truck and we're going to make sure water can't get in anymore. So, let's get to it. So, one of the biggest problems with this Range Rover is the sunroof. As you can see, someone put some Gorilla Tape up here to seal it off, and that really worked wonders on the paint. The reason there was Gorilla Tape here is that the sunroof seal hardened and shrank over time, so even this piece of paper can fit through with no resistance. And if that piece of paper fits, water can also get in, which is why we have water and mold in the interior. The truck has been drying out for a while, but it's still wet under the carpet, so we're going to take out the interior to fix that. Later, we'll also need to check the sunroof drain, which goes down this way.
So in order to fix this, you actually have to take the glass off, which is not that bad. So all this white stuff is an indication that water has been getting in. And you can sort of see, if you ever are buying a Range Rover or an LR3 and you see all this water, you know that your sunroof seal is pretty badly shot. So in order to get this, to fix this and put the new seal on, you're gonna have to take the glass off. Under each one of these accordions, these plastic accordions, are some bolts. So the first thing you're gonna wanna do is crack your sunroof. Like that. And then you want to just pull this off. And be careful, because you really do not want to damage these. And then you can see there's just two bolts, one there and one there. They are Torx.
A pro tip here, get a paint pen and mark where the sunroof mounting tabs are on the mounting brackets so that you can put it back in the exact same place for alignment. With the marks, you'll save time realigning the sunroof, and you should be able to get the position right with very minor or no adjustment.
Being really ginger, because I don't want to break them. They cost $1 billion at Land Rover. There we go. There.
So with the screws removed, you actually just lift it out,
Yep.
and then go get it outside. So I'm gonna go do that. While you have the sunroof out, it's a good time to clean this area, especially where the sunroof seal meets the roof. As the sunroof removed, we're gonna have to clean this up, but it's not too bad. Yeah, it's soft, dry. Yeah, it's definitely compressed along the edges. Just old, spent too much time in the sun. And I guess over time they wear out, so it makes sense.
Also, a good thing to note for anyone who has a car that might be from 2006 that they have to park outside. If you have a sunroof and it's been sitting a lot and not in the shade, check your sunroof seals before your truck starts getting wet.
Yeah,
like
that's true.
my other white truck,
Yeah.
the Yukon. So after some time with some Goo Gone, we were able to get all of the gunk off. See that there's still some scratches or like etching in this, so I might need to polish it. But now we're going to take note of this seal, how it's attached, and then start replacing it. And we'll be replacing the seal with this. It is a Land Rover seal, part LR023393. And yeah, that should fix our problem.
These are the marks we'll be using to realign the sunroof. And you can see here, it's got a fresh new seal on it. Fresh seal. Not dry, which is nice. I used the white paint with references. The same thing over here. It should be in place. And we'll test it out and make sure it's good, and then, yeah, It has to cure a little longer, but because we had to rejoin the seal because it was a little too big. But yeah. So the seal and the glass reinstalled, you can kind of see that when I reinstalled it, the front is actually a little too low. You see there's a little lip. So that means I'm gonna loosen the front screws and then slightly the rears, raise it back up so it's flush, and tighten it back down so we get a nice, so it's nice and even with the body. So let's do that. So you can actually reach the screws with it shut. So hopefully with some help. Will they go up? You have to push towards the front, I think.
Yep.
Is that good? Okay.
I think it's flush, I'm not sure.
That looks good.
You feel it with your fingers? Is there like a...
Might be... No, I think it's good.
Okay, let's test it with the paper.
I mean, I can't see on the other side, but it's very close. Probably like within factory spec.
Certainly within factory spec.
Yeah. And if you have a Tesla, factory spec is probably a finger fitting through.
If you have a Tesla, just don't.
Don't at me.
Don't at me because I'm not on Twitter anymore. Yeah, it's not.
Let me see it. You want to give me that for the front? Yeah. I mean, you can slot it in, but like that's not.
And you have to be very
precise.
With the last one, it was like a hot dog down a hallway.
Yeah. But even it'll fit in, but it doesn't go through. Yeah. Well, that's good. Now, since this car has taken on some water because of the sunroof issue we fixed, we have to dry the foam. So the carpet feels dry, but what's actually going on is that the foam underneath, the foam underneath is still holding water. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna pull the seats out and lift up the carpet so that we can air it out and dry it out. So to remove the rear seats, the way the seats are set up on a Range Rover Sport is that one of them is an individual piece and the other two are one piece. And you can actually tell there's a split, there's no split. So for this one, it's gonna be 2 bolts, one right here, one right here, and these are T50. And then in the rear, there's 2 more, one right here and one there. So once we remove these 2, we can tip the seat back forward, and then we'll be able to access the 2 rear ones a little better.
Yeah, and all of these have been resprayed.
Yeah. I guess to keep it consistent. Here.
Well, it also makes it whiter than it probably really is.
You might be able to see it.
Well, this was headed to a buy here, pay here.
Yeah. So what I'm doing here is I'm putting these seats down so when we pull that seat out, it won't like damage any of the leather. And we found some stuff. We found 1 cent.
It is a penny cheaper. This truck is now a penny cheaper.
Yep. Oh, no, a little more. 2 pennies.
2 pennies cheaper.
Oh, this is an old school cent.
Okay, so it might be a few dollars cheaper.
1952 cents. 3 cents.
There we go. Oh wait.
What's that?
We
have this little doll here. Fake Lego doll. A fake Lego doll's the rest of her body.
5 cents.
5 cents. 8 cents. Ooh.
And a 3/8.
Why do you have a 3/8 in here? This is all metric. And a little smiley star ring. Nice.
Oh, and a toothpick.
A toothpick.
Oh.
We found a lot of toothpicks in the Volvo.
Oh.
Is this a sun?
Don't touch.
I'm not gonna eat it. Oh, more coin.
Give me them ducats.
I'll probably get some more stuff.
A few more coins. Yeah, so those sunflower seeds look like they were spit out, so
Yeah.
that's fun.
I'm gonna go wash my hands.
Yeah.
But
Ooh! Another penny. This truck is getting cheaper by the minute.
maybe when we pull the front seats out, we'll get even more.
One would hope, because it's certainly, parts are not cheap.
Yeah, that's true.
Alright, let's put the seat down and get this thing.
Okay. Grab the handle. Okay.
Let me take this out and light.
Oh, and this is the
We can fix that because that's
flat.
not.
Oh, more coins. 11 cents. Incredible. Put them with the rest.
We have to fix this because it's not working properly.
Oh, it's supposed to attach to that, or?
It's supposed to basically it's supposed to be spring loaded. You see these? For some reason, it's not like operating properly, but.
I mean, they probably weren't
Ever put it was
down
probably never
very
put down.
often. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's functioning now, so that's good. But
Okay.
let's see.
We have unplugged it, so we'll show you how to.
Ooh,
More coins.
10 cents. Ooh, 11 cents. Ooh, why is it? Oh,
Oh, it's all wet.
it's spongy. It's like gummy.
Mm.
Oh boy, I wish I had gloves on.
Wash our hands and get gloves on.
Nasty. And now I'm touching my leather.
Well, we have to wash these whole seats anyway.
This one's not heavy. This one's gonna be a bitch.
Mm. Well, I'll be able to lift it so we could pull it out back. Unless you want to pull it out the trunk.
That might be a good idea.
Because this truck has heated rear seats, you also have to remember to unplug the connector before pulling the seats out.
I want to see how wet this thing actually got.
Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I thought.
Is it mostly on the side?
It's here and
Is it in the footwell area where it was lower?
yeah,
Because that part is raised.
yeah, and so this part doesn't feel wet.
Okay.
It's mostly here.
Okay, that means we can probably, if we lift that part up, we'll be able to.
Well, I
air it
think
out.
we're gonna have to. I genuinely believe we're gonna have to take it out.
Okay. Well, I mean, once we have the seats out.
But we don't have to dry all of it. It's just like parts of it, which is not bad. Okay.
This has 6?
7.
7? Okay, so yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 4 on the one there, 2 here, 1 there, and then 3 up front. Next step is going to be to remove the front seats. You can actually see water causes mold. We're going to have to deal with that, but we can do it out of the car. For the fronts, we're going to have to remove these panels here, and that will allow us to reach the screws or bolts that hold these on. Okay, so there is another bolt right there on this side. We'll also have to unbolt the seatbelt from the seat. The seatbelt has an attachment point here.
Slide up. Oh,
That's bad.
oh.
That's bad. But, okay, and that's T50, I think. This connector here has a Christmas tree clip that is snapped in here. So if you pull it out towards the outside of the car, it will free it. You get a little more movement. And then right here towards the bottom, you can't see. Yeah, so on this side, there's the part that should release this, but it's kind of hard to reach. So I'm gonna turn it, reach in. Okay. Yeah. So if you turn it so that this part faces up, you can reach your finger in, push the tab, and then pull it back, and that frees up the seatbelt. So to remove these panels, this one is 2 clips, one on the front and one on the rear. And then this one is 4. You have 2 on the lower side and 2 on the upper side, and it'll come straight up and out. And then you got your T50 here and here. If you're worried about triggering an airbag light when working with the seatbelt connector, you can move the seat with the power on to reach all the mounting bolts, then recenter the seat on the rails before disconnecting the battery and unplugging the seatbelt connector.
To do the front, both of these you're going to be pushing in toward the center of the truck. So there's just one clip on this side. Push that out, and then you just want to get in here, and once you're in the seam, just twist gently, and that's it.
Same thing on the driver's side.
And then your bolts here, and the same thing here. This actually has two clips. And then you just want to sort of wiggle it out like that. And there you go. And then you have access to those bolts. Move the seat forward. One rear bolt here.
So in the front, there's a little panel there that you're going to want to remove. It has 4 clips. It's a little black plastic panel there. And that will give us access to the connectors that are behind. Sure. Yeah, just all 4. It needs to be cleaned.
Be very careful. There's just molded. It literally has mold growing on it. Instead of calling it the Range Rover, you can call it the Range Molder.
The main seat connector looks like a black box here, and it's held in by a bolt. The connector houses all the seat connectors in one unit, so once the bolt is out, that'll be all the systems in the seat disconnected at once. It's a 7mm bolt, and it's captive, so it won't remove all the way out. It'll just stay in place.
Yep.
You see all the connectors, and then the harness is clipped. You're gonna want to use a trim tool to pop that out. There's 2 on this car. That's it. Oh, this is gonna drag more coins. This is gross. Lots of pens.
You know what? The smartest thing Land Rover ever did.
Let's have this up.
Yup.
Yeah. So there's cars where anything under here is low as the low point. All the water gets just in it, and it just ruins everything. But it seems to be fine.
Yeah, and if you look at the back, the bracket actually makes it stand up about an inch.
Yeah, there's actually a gap under here, which might be part of where the air comes out for the rear lower air.
Actually, you're right. That's exactly what it is. But that also saved us from having a
ruined Harman Kardon system. And this is where the carpet meets the front, the rear section meets the front section. On this side, it's the driver's seat. You got that same big connector with the 7mm. But there's also one little connector, black connector back here. Gray connector right here. Just push down on the top. Oh, okay, there's like a DVD drive under here too for the nav, I think.
Oh! Shame the GPS isn't working for whatever reason.
And that's all the connectors in there. And there's a couple clips in there. Here I'm checking from the back to make sure there are no other cables that might catch anywhere. And the same thing, there's 1, 2, 3 bolts back here, so. Alright. Remove that, and then that'll be all the seats out. With the interior out, we propped up the wet carpet on the passenger side so that we could leave fans running to dry the foam over a few days. We also sprayed mold killer as needed.
So in a TSB, a technical service bulletin, from 2006, they talk about water ingress in the cabin and the passenger footwell lake that happens to all the LR3s and Range Rover Sports. And in it, they said that the complaint might come days after it rains because it will take time for the water to soak and get through the pollen filter. And that's your cabin air filter, which we've been trying to chase a smell for a while. And I noticed that a while ago, the glove box was really bad, had a really bad mildew smell. So I did some mold abatement in here. Okay, but there's definitely mold here and here and there, and I'm gonna have to take care of that. Ooh, it smells moldy in here. Oh, and look, those are rusty, so here's your cabin air filter. Just say, so it comes off this way. The cover. Okay. Oh, dear God. All right, hold your breath. Okay, well, yeah, that could be the smell.
Yeah, it's going in the bin.
That's...
We should bring it outside bin.
Oh, yeah.
Should I open the garage door?
Yeah, just real quick for
safety.
For comparison's sake, these, and this was a great filter. It's a man filter. This is what that should look like. Yeah. It's a carbon impregnated filter. That is absolutely not.
Is that rust on the side?
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh. So this has been very wet thanks to the sunroof drains issue.
And that's why the interior is out.
Oh boy.
With the new cabin air filter in and the interior dried, we cleaned the carpet. And that makes a huge difference. If you happen to have what looks like a water line from a puddle or a pool in your passenger side, it might not just be your sunroof seal. It might also be your sunroof drains. The sunroof drains come down the A-pillar and they exit out here. If you remove the A-pillar trim, you can see the sunroof drain hose running alongside the wiring harness and airbag. In order to get these off, you want to pull this out from the bottom first. There's a clip here and here, and then you just pull it down. With that, this trim piece comes out, and that also happens to be your intake. And then you want to look in here, and what you should see is a rubber nipple coming out of that hole. On the LR3s and the Range Rover Sports, frequently that nipple will disintegrate and the sunroof drain will just pour water all over your central junction box and into your passenger side or driver's side footwell, depending on which one goes bad first. In this case, this one went bad, so we're going to fix it.
There's 2 screws here.
These panel screws are captive and don't come out all the way.
Well, that was fun.
Remove the light connector. And this is what the 2 glove box hinge pins look like. So there is a tool you can buy from Land Rover to remove the glove box hinge pins, but the method we used was to take a piece of 1/4 inch inner diameter and 3/4 inch outer diameter PEX tubing and a machine screw to release the catches and push the pins out. Unfortunately, in our case, the retaining clips on the pins broke, so we ended up ordering replacement pins. Maybe try to find a better way to get these out. With the glove box out of the way, we can access the central junction box, and there are 3 big connectors on the front, a blue one, green one, and orange one, and then on the bottom there's one green one, and then there's 2 more on the back. This is also held in by 2 10mm nuts, one there and one right there, so here and here. And so we're gonna disconnect those. Disconnect the connectors, which I think we can at least get the front one. There's 2 clips on either side, and we can lift it and it'll pull itself out. So I'm gonna do the same for those 2, and then I'm also gonna pull the 2 nuts off. So once you have all the connectors done, you're gonna move this harness out of the way, and it should come down and out. Since you can't really see, the green connector is on towards the inside of the car, the orange connector towards the outside, and those black levers are what you can push up to release it. Now behind that orange one is where the piece there, it just disintegrated, so. That's the opening where the water is supposed to exit, and you can see where the water ran down instead. And so that hose there, the black hose, the goal is going to be to cut that and put a push to connect join and put in the new piece in. Right here, this is what's left of what joins the hose to the exit port on the body. It's just crumbly. As you can see in there, I cut the end off the hose, and that's because instead of replacing the entire assembly, which goes up to the sunroof, I'm going to be replacing it with this piece. One of the reasons I'm going with this route is that the whole part for this is actually relatively cheap. I think it's like $7 or $10 on American British, so, you know, worth a shot. So we got some push to connect airline fittings, and this is gonna just slide on here. Okay, and this will actually turn, so when you're in place you can realign it. And we're gonna do the same thing on the other side with the line that's in the truck, and hopefully we'll be able to push it up out of the way and just pop that in. With that done, I have my exit mounted through, and you can see up there, that's where it comes through. And so with that done, that's the system patched up. I had to lay down in the footwell, which is easy because the seat was gone, but yeah, you need some small hands to work in there. Next is going to be to put the junction box back in, and for that we have to make sure our back connectors are connected properly. Yeah, I think so. I had to push the black tabs up. I mean, they'll only fit in one way, and then we have to make sure, yeah, these will also only fit in one way. So when you go to put it back in, at the top there's 2 pins, so you're going to want to make sure those are lined up properly. But before you do that, you want to get the 2 connectors on the back. And the advice I could give you for that is hold it upright. The lever is going to be up, and you're going to, once you're in the thing, you'll pull it down. I have small hands, and it was pretty tight, especially on the left side, but maybe you can try to connect it with it lower so you have a little more room, but otherwise try to feel for the raised tabs, which are also, you can also feel on the box to line it up. And once you get the alignment right, it should slide in, and then once that's done, you can reach up, pull the tab down, and it'll set it. So it is a challenge. Yeah. And then once those 2 back connectors are in, make sure the 2 pins are lined up top. It'll pop in, and then you can realign it on the 2 studs for the bottom part, put the bolts back in, or the nuts back on, then reconnect the front connectors and the bottom one. And after that, all you have to do is put your glove box back in, put your glove box pins back in, and then put your bottom trim back in. Before we put all the seats back in, we did a deep clean to get rid of any mold that was on them. Now that they're back in, the interior looks great, and it doesn't smell anymore. Now we have a clean truck, so we can focus on the mechanical side. We know it runs great, but we need to make sure it can keep running without issues, so next week we'll be working on the crunchy belts and the leaky radiator. Subscribe so you don't miss it. If you've dealt with something like this too, let me know in the comments, and leave a like if you're enjoying the rebuild. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.